Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, like, subscribe, follow, whether you're listening through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And you can follow on social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or X. I hope everyone is recovered from the weekend. Obviously, with what happened on Saturday with the loss 2-0 to Hull City. You can listen to my recap episode from Saturday on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. But it, yeah, obviously we know what's going on, and you're seeing the blowback now from the episode from the match. Whether you're following everything on social media, Instagram, whether you're following on Twitter or Instagram, YouTube, there is plenty of stuff going on, not just current player, or not just ex players, but fan channels, Twitter accounts. You're seeing everyone go through all this, and you're seeing quotes from Ruben Amorim and everything. People posting. Don't get me wrong. I have reposted a few things. I am guilty of that. I won't deny that from what I've done on my ex. And I've had a few debates too. And listen, yes, it's the first game. Yes, it's plenty of time still to make up. Again, there are those comments coming out from Luke Shaw. Bruno has made his comments. Michael Carrick has made his comments. I've expressed my frustrations and I've made some posts as well. We we do have time for the season again, but the team wasn't prepared for Saturday. It doesn't matter about the World Cup or anything. We have a game this week against Ipswich. We're seeing the talks about Luke Shaw, obviously the comments he's made. I've seen rumors of Harry Maguire apparently drove himself home and then did not come back with the team. Um, we saw what Bruno said, the same issues as last year, which, yeah, the same issues again that happened last year are still there. So he was honest with that. Obviously, you're seeing Carrick and the way Luke Shaw are making those comments and stuff. And yeah, and then you're seeing the news, the spin. I'm saying spin. I'm not going to say the official news that they're looking at a left back now, because now they're officially concerned that Luke Shaw may not be able to play multiple games. That took 1, 2, 3, 4 years to figure that out, ladies and gentlemen. When did you figure it out? This year, or did you figure it out when he was healthy enough to play in the Euros, got injured again, took 4 months off, and then he played this whole season hoping that he'd make the World Cup? When did we figure this out? I'd like to know when that best in class Sir Jim and Ineos came up with to figure that out. It's fucking remarkable. We like, and again, some of this is going to be spin and roll out from what happened. If we pull out a win on Sunday, because we're facing Ipswich at home for our home opener, they may give it a pin. Like, they may talk about that. They may talk about, oh, look, it was just a first game, jitters, so on and so forth. I mentioned in my prediction episodes or anything, and I talked about these 3 games. We have to come out with points. We cannot be dropping points with these games. We've already dropped 3. Again, hats off to Hull City for just beating United. Seriously. They deserve it. Rightly so, and I gave a credit. That's the title of my episode. Hull City deserved the win. But we're looking at it here, and we're like, they have to come out with Ipswich. Ipswich is coming off a win. They have to come to Old Trafford. We have to play on our game. We do. But right now, like, there is an issue. There is a concern. We knew, like, again, as much as Carrick did well, and Carrick made those comments, oh, we lose after what we've done in the last 6 or 7 months. I don't give a shit what you did last season. I should rephrase that. It's not that I don't give a shit. Yes, you got us to the Champions League. That was fucking last season. You came into this season with high expectations. You're no longer the fucking caretaker. You're now the fucking manager or head coach or wherever the fuck anyone else wants to call you. You are there to get this team to the next level. You're supposed to be taking the next step and being competitive, not be a spokesman for Manchester United. Whether you're saying whether there's leaks coming out saying that you've expressed frustrations, we know there can be sources just to leak out stuff just for spin, just to give the media showing that, hey, we are cooperating with each other, because they don't want another blowback of what happened with Ruben Amorim. Though I don't think Carrick will do that. We have had an okay transfer window. Yes, we now have Carlos Baleba. We have we're technically now we have 5 midfielders if you're including Mason Mount in that rotation. We are going to have our challenges. Physical fitness isn't there. We've seen it. There was no fitness there at all this week. And I like how everyone's talking about the same system Hull City put out is the same one that Ruben Amorim beat United with. But we're in that situation here, and let me just pause for one moment there. Like, listen, I was always an Amorim in guy. I loved him. I knew what the project was going to take. I was willing to be patient to see the success come through. Obviously, now with everything going on, everyone is now making comments and retweeting Amorim quotes and everything and all that stuff. But hey, at the end of the day, we're in this spot anyways. We can't go back and change it. We can't do anything, so on and so forth. Amorim is doing his thing at AC Milan. We are now going to be doing our thing with Manchester United. And it's tough. Like, obviously it's the first loss, but we've been like this for the last couple of years. We have struggled over our opening week. We lost to Arsenal the year before. The win against Wolverhampton a couple of years ago was, if everyone remembers it correctly, it was very suspect. Brentford, or what was it? Yeah, we lost our opening games. Like, we have struggled opening games. The question is now is what do we do going forward? How do we rebound? How do we get everything back? That is the important thing. What will Manchester United do? How will they respond? This is the response game that you have to see. They have to score. They have to get points. The offense has to be there. Like, listen, and people are saying, well, the players aren't fit. Other teams have World Cup players. We weren't the only ones with World Cup players. We like Kobe Maido didn't play anything. He faked an injury and now he's back. We had Delo and Bruno coming back, 3 weeks ago? Lemens has been back for a month. Like, Lemens is the one that kept us in the game. And Mbeumo didn't have any World Cup. Amad Diallo, who is now out for a couple weeks. We had players fit. Cunha played and was fit. Rashford played. Like, they're all fit. They're all there. If you're able to be on the field and play, you were fit. Like, there's the concern. The concern is training. The concern is, endurance. Like, Luke Shaw didn't have a World Cup. What the hell has he been doing? Neither did Maguire, Aiden Heaven, Lenny Euro. Mazraoui had a World Cup. He's back fit. Again, the whole team didn't play well on Saturday. It was shown. We saw that there. But there was yeah. This is basically the reaction of everything that's been going on since Saturday. And yes, we can continue talking about it. We've always needed a left back, and that was the truth. They are looking at Baldy. We'll see how that goes. We needed a midfielder. We saw that. Baleba's already in. He'll be probably appearing on Sunday against Ipswich as the announcement. We still need a backup striker because Xerxes may be going. They're not selling any players. They're not telling players to leave. They don't have a manager that's willing to kick them out. Like, come on, we had reports literally of Amorim telling you guys need to leave. He literally told Garnacho just to get out. He got Rashford to go out on loan. Come on. We don't have sales. Like, this is why I always make my comment that Manchester United are a commercial. Like, they're a commercial club. The owners, the board, they're not serious about making changes. Like, the fan base is split. Like, I've mentioned it before. Listen, I am okay for spending wisely. But if you have a talented player that you have in sight and they match the value, go fucking pay for it. Spurs are throwing money. Yes, Spurs lost 3-0. But they lost 3-0 to a very good Brentford team. A very good Brentford team. And we've struggled against Brentford. It's not just like, oh, we've struggled against them once or twice. We have struggled with them for the last couple of years. United have. And if that was United, the way they played against Hull City on Saturday, we were probably losing 6 or 7-0. Chelsea looked good yesterday. Chelsea's playing a 3-4-3 with Xabi Alonso. You saw how well the ball moved. You saw the players, like, you got Rodgers and Palmer as your 2 10s. That's going to be deadly with Chelsea, and that's going to be harmful for us. It's going to be. So, listen, Spurs, I believe, are going to rebound. Spurs are continuing to spend. They have the funds. They're going to have Spurs are going to probably be better in the second half of the season because teams like us, who have been playing so many games, are not going to be able to play. And chances are we're not going to be as fit in that part of the season because we're not doing proper training. So there's a lot of concerns. When you have a player in an interview, I'm going to use Tielemans because he said they're focusing more on ball control than actual physical fitness, like actual running. And you face teams that are high possession and move the ball and press and want to outrun you, yeah, you're going to struggle. And you saw that twice in a row. But we still need players. This ownership's not willing to move on from ex players and try to force them to leave or try to tell them to leave, to find a new team. Like Højlund's in Napoli because they had to move on. Unfortunately, Xerxes, we don't know what's going on. We may have Xerxes leave, and we may not get his replacement. There are troubling things going on with this final week of the window. Yes, it is effectively the last week of the window. Next Tuesday is that week. So we're going to sit here and wonder, hey, what's going to happen? Come on. I am sorry for this rant, but it's, yeah, just because I'm looking at everything here and we're still a divided fan base. Don't get me wrong. I'm well aware it's our first game. But I also said, I believe it was in my preview against Hull City, like, United had more pressure going into this game than Hull City did. It's the truth. United had more pressure going to this game on the road to a newly promoted team than the team that was hosting. Why? Because everything that happened, third place last season, back in Champions League, new signings. You have everyone from ex-players and the fan base and social media talking about it, the next steps. You have a guy on United Strand saying thank you to the Premier League for giving me 3 easy games. Like, what do you like? What are you expecting here? Look at the pressure. And also, I was concerned because, Manchester United, they don't play very well against these types of teams. So the sense that United have entitlement to think that they had a right to go up against Hull City. Hull City, like, realistically, again, congratulations to them. They played a very excellent game. They shut down United. They made sure they didn't get any chances. But the pressure on them versus the pressure that United had was, if you look at it at a scale, was lower than what United had. United had more pressure going into that game. And it shows here that United can't handle pressure. These players can't handle the load. When your captain calls out and says it's the exact same thing as last season, there is definitely a concern. There's a concern when your manager and your one other player just brush off the loss and go on to next week. It's tough when you're hearing a news report that one of your teammates didn't want to travel back with the team. That is a concern. Like, now that your manager basically tried to brush off the loss, and then one of your teammates basically brushed it off, saying we always have next week, you better show up against Ipswich. The pressure now this Saturday or this Sunday against Ipswich is higher than what it was opening weekend against Hull. You are now adding pressure, and now you have to show up. Luke Shaw needs to back up what he has said. Carrick will need to back up what he has said. That's what it is. There's immense pressure going into Ipswich this weekend. Immense pressure. Because of Carrick, because of a teammate, my apologies. But they need to show up on Sunday. I don't know why I keep saying Saturday. It just stuck from last weekend. But they need to show up. The captain knows what's there. He was open up about it, and I'm okay with him being open about it. That was truthful. It was very truthful. People giving backlash against Bruno. Yeah, Bruno wasn't great. I rated him terrible. I think I maybe have given him a 5 just to be generous. But he wasn't wrong. The players did not play well. They did not do anything. He was making stupid mistakes. But he was honest. And the fan base, some of the fan base turned on him. They did. I don't want Bruno to go. But if I'm choosing my career over a club that's not going to be taken seriously and an ownership that's not willing to back it because he has rejected and apparently another contract proposal, if they're not going to improve, and if I'm a player and you're hoping that the team takes the next steps to move forward, and they're not, like, why stay? I'm not telling Bruno to leave. I would like him to stay because he is our best player. But having, like, I wouldn't be upset if he decided to say, you know what, maybe I take my place somewhere else. Maybe I go to maybe I take my places to another Champions League team in Europe. It's there. Like, we have Ipswich on Sunday. Ipswich is this Sunday. The pressure is more again on United for one, lack of not showing against Hull. 2, for the shameful post-game comments of basically just brushing it off and saying going on to the next one. You have your captain who's called out everyone saying it's the same stuff as last year. Like, and you have fans that were basically walking into these games saying that it was going to be a cakewalk. Like, you're winning at home. You're playing at home this Sunday too. By the way, you're at home. Comments weren't made well. Your captains made comments. You had reports of another player who didn't travel home with the team. You have spins coming out about the ownership at concern with your left back, which sounds like more of a spin. We haven't made any transfers. There's a chance that we may not make any purchases in the final transfer week. There are concerns. There are red flags. But here we are. The answer is, how do we as a club, it shouldn't be we as a club. How do these players and this manager, this board, rebound from a loss from Saturday? Now, don't get me wrong, my preview is going to come out on Saturday or on Thursday with the game against Ipswich. I'm going to do my preview game. But they need to rebound. And they need to demonstrate why. I don't want to come out of these first 3 games with drop points. You've already dropped 3 against Hull. But again, Ipswich, again, I'm going to say it again, Ipswich coming into Sunday, the pressure's not on them. They won't have to feel the pressure. Yes, they got a win opening weekend. They already have a W. But the pressure for them compared to what United have to do this Sunday, I've already mentioned before. I'm kind of repeating myself. And we have struggled against Ipswich before. This club did struggle with Ipswich when they were promoted. And majority of those players are still here. It's the truth. They are. The only thing, the ones that are gone are is Garnacho and Christian Eriksen, but everyone else is still here. If you look at the roster, everyone basically is still here. The only I think we added on was Embuemo and Cunha from there. But Kobe Mainu is still here. Maguire, Licha, Luke Shaw, Lenny Euro was here. Aiden Heaven came for the Aiden Heaven, I believe, was brought in after the second game, or just before the second time when we played them. But Bruno, yeah, Ugarte was here. Casemiro was still here. Rashford was still here. Garnacho is no longer here. Like we have the same players that played against them, almost the same squad as when we played them the first time. And I'm pretty sure Luke Shaw didn't play because he was recovering from that one game he played at the Euros after missing like 8 months for the club that needed him. So yeah, we're yeah. There is the challenge of this week. So, but no, I do apologize for not doing a game on Sunday, or a match on Sunday. Doing the post game for the women's game. That's a huge error on my part. So I do apologize for not doing that. It's yeah, they did lose their preseason. They haven't had the best preseason so far, obviously, but the goal is, as always for preseason, is to get the squad fit, test out the formation, get everyone prepared for the season, because they're a week from Friday from playing against Lionesses. So, listen, it's not going to be an easy season for them, obviously, with what has happened over the last couple of weeks, a new manager. But with the way the new manager is, and the way she has prepared and what she's did at her former club, I think we're still going to be fine with the way the season's going to start. But yes, there is going to be pressure from beginning to end. The goal is hopefully try and get them back to Champions League, but they are looking to build and develop, especially with our youth. So still, I have not seen. I will have to look into it more. I will touch base with them about the women's squad on Thursday. Checking on any new signings, any new transfers, because I know when I've talked about them, there's always been a few things. So yeah. But yes, no, I will touch base. I do apologize for not doing a post game reaction to that as well. So I am very, very sorry. But yeah, I will catch up more with them on Thursday's episode, as well as my preview with Ipswich. So that's that's the one thing that's concerning about Ipswich too, is the roster that we have is still basically the same. Sesko, Cunha, Embuemo, Lamens, yep. But Rashford is still there. Bruno is still here. Luke Shaw is still on the roster. We still have Harry Maguire, Licha. Mazraoui was there. Mazraoui, I believe, was in his first season. De Ligt is still here. Hopefully we have De Ligt back. But yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Well, I was hoping to leave it there at that episode, but no, there is a lot of concern with Manchester United after this first game. I know it's the first game, but the pressure is there. Everyone thought these first 3 games were a cakewalk, and I have always mentioned there's no such thing as an easy win. But United, when they've played these types of teams, yeah. So there is a lot of concern with that. So, but yeah, I will leave it there as well. So I will be back Thursday with a post game, unless something else happens as well. And obviously discuss Baleba. Well, Baleba's already been discussed. He's officially with United. He'll be announced, I believe, this weekend. So, or you'll see him at the Ipswich game. So, but no, enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of the week. If I don't talk to you on Thursday, Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and as well as social media, Instagram, TikTok, or X. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.